Red 48. Set.
Throw a pass to Campbell. He dodges the tackler. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Tripped up, lunging toward the goal line and stopped on the 1-yard line.
In 1977, more than 12,000 young men took part in some 1,500 major college football games.
Leading it up distance is going. It's gone! It's gone from 66 yards!
Out of all of those games and all of those players, the best were selected at their positions. They are called All-Americans, and those young men now selected join the most famous names in the history of college football. They are part of a tradition originated by Yale coach Walter Camp that has continued uninterrupted for 88 years. You're about to meet the newest members of an exceptional group. The coach's choice as the best college football players of 1977.
I'm Ben Martin, head football coach at the Air Force Academy and currently serving as president of the American Football Coaches Association. You know, when I was a kid playing football, I always dreamed of making the All-America team, for it's an honor that will stay with you for a lifetime. And now we have the pleasure to present to you the selections for the 1977 Coaches All-America football team.
1977 was a demanding and often punishing year on college quarterbacks. When they were healthy, they were brilliant. Through 4 games, Gifford Nielsen of Brigham Young fired footballs at a record-setting pace until an injury ended his season. Guy Benjamin of Stanford did remain healthy and led the nation in passing. Purdue's freshman Mark Herman topped Big Ten passers and staked a claim on future All-America honors. Junior Thomas Lott of Oklahoma typified the running quarterback of 1977. In 4 separate games, Lott gained more than 100 yards rushing and scored 12 touchdowns, leading Oklahoma to the coveted Big 8 title. However, the coaches were most impressed with a Pittsburgh senior named Matt Cavanaugh. A tough, bone-hard competitor, Cavanaugh guided Pitt to a national championship in 1976. In his first outing of 1977, he was injured on this scoring pass against Notre Dame. Doctors feared Cavanaugh's season was over. But 3 games later, with a cast on his left wrist, the gritty quarterback returned to the game he loved. The leading touchdown passer in Pitt history. A young man who wouldn't give up is the top quarterback of 1977, Matt Cavanaugh of Pittsburgh. Part of the exciting, unpredictable nature of college football is the abundance of daring, agile, quick-thinking quarterbacks whose strong arms are aided by a group of receivers who believe they own everything thrown their way. Young men who catch first and worry about the consequences later. To find a receiver who could literally perform miracles on the football field, the coaches looked to the Crimson Tide of Alabama. With circus catchers like these, Ozzie Newsome has become the Tide's all-time leading receiver for total yards. Outstanding in so many ways, Newsome, according to Coach Bear Bryant, is the best athlete to play at Alabama since Joe Namath. whether returning punts or catching footballs, Ozzie Newsome has earned the honor All-America receiver. At Arizona State, they never run out of footballs for John Jefferson to catch. All the way to J.J. was a Sun Devil favorite. His patterns were careful calculations guaranteed to frustrate even the most disciplined defenders, making John Jefferson an All-America flanker. As autumn pays its annual visit to South Bend, the winning tradition that is Notre Dame football continues. Its foundation has been outstanding young men, like two-time Kodak All-America Ken McAfee.
Receiving a football, the one thing you want to do is concentrate on the football itself. From the time it leaves the quarterback's hands to the time you're about to receive it, you want to eye the football all the way. One thing that comes to my mind, of course, when you're going to receive a ball that's coming directly at you is to form a V with your hands. So when you catch the ball, it'll come in as a cushion. And this cushion will absorb the ball much more readily than if you just held your hands stiff. To have your arms and your hands work as one unit. Try to bring the ball up and down and use it as a cushion. After you receive the ball, of course, you want to tuck it away using one hand to do so against your body while bringing the other hand around the edge of the ball. Keeping it tucked in your body, of course, is one of the main things that coaches try to stress day after day in practice.
Practice and perfect the key techniques. And Big Mac seems to surround the football with a massive 250 pounds of determination. A pre-med dental student whose father starred in professional football, Ken McAfee has led Notre Dame in receiving each of his past 3 seasons. Big Ken McAfee, a solid choice as an All-America receiver. The U.S. Air Force Academy was 3 years old when Ben Martin became its head coach.
Come on, Russ. That's the way to drive. Good. That's good.
Now, 20 years and many big games later, Martin has established a reputation as one of the most knowledgeable instructors in his sport. A responsible teacher of young men.
Good. That's the way to work your feet. A drill like this really emphasizes the techniques that are really necessary to be a good offensive lineman. Good fire out, good basic stance, feet spread wide apart, choppy steps, head and eyes up, straight back, moving in with a lot of power and thrust. And this is hard work. This is down in the trenches, but that's where the All-American linemen come from.
The coaches studied a great many offensive linemen before finally making their choice of the top blockers in college football. Mark Donahue is a Michigan senior who overcame knee surgery to become one of the most devastating blockers in the school's history. Number 60 opened the holes for those pile-driving Michigan backs on their way to winning a second straight berth in the Rose Bowl. Donahue was a cohesive part of one of the finest offensive lines in college football, as coach Bo Schembechler was blessed with a pair of the best anywhere, Donahue and center Walt Downing, both All-Americans. Dan Irons of Texas Tech possessed the speed and skill to throw those key downfield blocks that often led to touchdowns. At Arkansas, Leotis Harris cleared a path that led the Razorbacks to their first invitation ever to the Orange Bowl. While Ohio Stadium has seen many great blockers over the years, it has been host to none better than Chris Ward, according to veteran coach Woody Hayes.
We feel that Chris Ward is the best tackle in the country. We haven't seen any in any of our films that measure up to him. He's a great blocker on the running plays. He's great on pass protection, excellent footwork. He weighs 265 and is extremely agile. We've had great tackles here at Ohio State. There haven't been any that would rate any higher than Chris Ward.
Selecting the All-American football team is not an easy task. Those linemen and receivers you just saw were decided upon only after millions of feet of film were viewed and analyzed by each and every coach in America. When the coaches make their decision, The young men chosen know they have passed the most critical test of all, the careful analysis of the nation's head coaches. Being named All-America is an honor a young man carries with him the rest of his life. For the members of the 1977 team, the fun begins with a super get-acquainted weekend in San Diego.
Welcome aboard, members of the 1977 All-American football team.
Each player is very proud of his berth on the All-American team because he's earned it against the toughest competition that the sport has to offer.
Hi, I'm Ross Bronner of the University of Notre Dame, and I would like for you to meet some of my friends who, when we get together on Saturday afternoons, we just have a little bit of fun.
UCLA followers had plenty to cheer about in 1977, including the tremendous linebacking of Jerry Robinson, number 84. Robinson is a junior whose quickness and stand-em-up tackles made him one of the nation's premier linebackers. Alongside Robinson, the coaches named 220-pound senior Lucius Sanford. Sanford was a 4-year starter for Georgia Tech. At Kansas State, the pregame pep rally sets the colorful mood that is so much a part of college football. Spirit like this on college campuses across the nation generates enthusiasm for a great game, while Kansas State linebacker Gary Spaney generates his own kind of enthusiasm with aggressive, hard-nosed football.
You have to get aggressive. You have to know you're going in there to hit and attack. I mean, you have to get that in your mind, and you have to get after people.
Gary Spaney led the Big Eight in total tackles, a performance that clinched him a spot as an All-America linebacker. In 1977, college football continued to set new standards of popularity, playing before more fans than ever before. Much of the color and spirit of the sport centered on the young men whose job it was to stop the game's high-powered offenses, whether rushing a quarterback or blasting a fullback head-on. Defensive linemen earned many of the headlines of 1977. The dream of most every lineman, including Kentucky's 6'7" Art Still, has been and always will be to somehow score a touchdown.
Field goal attempt. The snap, it's down. Can you see it, Rick? Blocked by Art Still. He picks it up. Art Still is at the 40, the 35. Look at the big guy go to the 15. He's going the 5. Touchdown, Art Still. Art Still scoops it up, and I'll tell you, they weren't about to catch him.
The all-round play of Art Still powered Kentucky to its best season in 27 years. Texas coach Fred Akers put together a rugged defense that gave up yards only grudgingly. Right at the heart of the Longhorn wrecking crew was number 77, Brad Shearer, who helped make his coach's first year at Texas a great one.
Brad is extremely quick and extremely strong, and he's very intelligent, and he's just a great competitor. He's so strong and quick that people generally will assign at least 2 people just to keep him out of the pass rush. But he makes tackles all over the field. He's a type that can stop them inside and go sideline to sideline.
Brad Shearer, Texas All-American. In the East, Pittsburgh Lost only 2 games in the 2 years Randy Holloway was a starting defensive tackle. A hungry Panther, Holloway roamed the field to find his prey. Number 70 clogged the middle and frustrated enemy quarterbacks. Randy Holloway was Pittsburgh's tower of tackling. Ohio State won a share of the Big Ten title with number 55, Aaron Brown, anchoring the midsection of the rugged Buckeye defense. Notre Dame fans live and die with the fortunes of their Fighting Irish. And in 1977, they had a lot of living to do. One reason, 2-time Kodak All-America Ross Browner.
This year has been pretty exciting for me because, you know, it's been a great challenge coming off of a great year last year and then coming out again this year. A lot of teams are starting to double team and triple team me, and so fighting 2 or 3 blockers every time I start a pass rush and then defeating them and then getting to the quarterback really helps out our defensive effort. And then plus, if I don't get in on the pass rush, then some of my other partners will.
Over the years, Ross Browner has tackled more runners behind the line of scrimmage for more yards and losses than any player in Notre Dame history. When his father passed away 2 years ago, Ross Browner dedicated his final seasons at Notre Dame to his father's memory. With that inspiration, Ross Browner was able to reach out and attain many of his goals, and is now, for the 2nd straight year, a member of the All-America defensive line.
Football players who do their thing in a secondary on defense have to perform a lot of techniques that are very unnatural. In this sort of a training drill, they learn how to back up, go sideways while they're backing up, recover to drive on the football when it's in the air. And that's what we look for when we coaches are trying to select those who will be All-America defensive backfield men. A lot of agility, a lot of intensity, the mobility to go in any direction, and when the ball's in the air, it belongs to them.
Dennis Thurman specialized in the big play, always looking for that little advantage that can turn a game around. Alert play like this helped the coaches select Southern California's Dennis Thurman for a spot in the All-America secondary. In 5 years at Oklahoma, Coach Barry Switzer has won 51 games. 4 of those 5 years, Zach Henderson has been a starter in the Sooner secondary.
Zach Henderson has been an outstanding player for the University of Oklahoma. He was a starter as a freshman. He has outstanding ability, good speed, quickness, very intelligent. He has been the leader of our defense for 4 consecutive years, and I think that he certainly truly deserves the recognition as an All-American football player.
When Notre Dame put on its green jerseys for the first time in 14 years, the Irish upset highly ranked Southern Cal with defensive pressure by Ross Browner up front and the daring of cornerback Luther Bradley, both Kodak All-Americans.
I think the best defensive backs are the daring defensive backs. You know, they're willing to take the chances. And during the course of the game, you know, I do, you know, let myself go every now and then, you know, and take the chance. And, you know, maybe I'll be lucky enough to get that one. It depends on, you know, the atmosphere and how close the game is, and of course, how daring I'll be.
No one at Notre Dame has intercepted more passes in a career than All-American Luther Bradley.
It takes a lot of skill to excel, as those defensive players have shown us. But college football is also a showcase of human emotion, competition, and excitement. The ear-shattering drama of spirit and strategy. And it can be found on any one of 100 campuses on an autumn Saturday.
Then read the tackle position in terms of whether you want to go inside it with trap again. play-action pass.
No matter whether it's in front of 104,000 fans at Michigan or 12,000 fans at Colgate, human emotions are what makes college football such a vital part of our lives.
Most people, coaches and fans alike, know a lot about the running backs because they're the glamour guys in the game of college football. Of course, we look for someone with explosive speed, with real good body position to make that tough yardage in the crowd. We like people with natural skills to evade the defenders so that they find that opening, run to daylight, so to speak. They also have to be able to block for their other buddies in the running back category. And more often than not, they have to be good pass receivers coming out of that backfield. So your running backs are a very versatile group.
3 runners dominated the coaches' voting in this 108th year of college football. Louisiana State fans have their own version of Alexander the Great. He's Charles Alexander. And according to Tiger fans, he's a combination Jimmy Taylor and Billy Cannon. One coach described him this way: when you watch him, it looks like he's running downhill. The original Alexander the Great conquered countries, while his southern namesake is content to be the most prolific single-season runner in the history of the Southeastern Conference. To LSU fans, he is simply the great Charles Alexander. The Cowboys of Oklahoma State are proud of the record-shattering exploits of Terry Miller. Top career ground gainer in the history of the Big 8 Conference, outrunning Joe Washington, Steve Owens, and Greg Pruitt, Terry Miller is the picture of consistency. He is the only runner ever in the Big 8 to gain 1,000 yards 3 consecutive seasons. And he finished 1977 with an amazing 19 straight games gaining over 100 yards.
Any running back in the country probably will tell you that most of his tackles come, breaking tackles come from within his legs, because that's where your most strength is. That's what you're concentrating on, building up and keep your legs churning and stuff like this. So that would be where your strength is. If I had to be a certain type of runner, I try to be an intelligent runner, not one or the other. I just try to use the ability that I have. Therefore, I couldn't say whether I'm a juker or power runner. I couldn't be too powerful because I'm not big enough.
6 feet, 195 pounds of determination. Terry Miller is a licensed pilot. Takes a lot of kidding because of a girdle he wears to prevent muscle damage. And spends his summers working in a bank, which he says he would like to own someday. A year ago as a junior, Miller led Oklahoma State to a share of its first Big 8 title ever. Every time he touched the ball, it was an adventure, a happening, a showstopper. Or as one Oklahoma State fan said, another thriller from Terry Miller. In their drive for #1, the Texas Longhorns faced crucial battles week after week, led by powerful Earl Campbell. Against mighty Oklahoma, Campbell twisted and leaped for 124 yards and scored the winning touchdown. Against previously unbeaten Arkansas, Campbell gained 188 yards and set up the game's only touchdown with this clutch effort. Arkansas coach Lou Holtz called Campbell the best back he's ever coached against. Earl's own coach, Fred Akers, feels very strongly about his 220-pound senior.
Earl is the finest football player I have ever had the pleasure of playing with or coaching. He's just an outstanding running back, and he's an outstanding person. He's a leader in that dormitory. He's a leader on the campus. He's a leader on the football field, and there's no question of his football ability. He has speed. He has power, tremendous power, and he's got good agility and fine balance, and he has a grace about him that is typical of any fine running back. But in my opinion, I think he's the best running back to ever come out of this state.
Earl Campbell is called the man by his teammates. Some coaches say he's the quickest power runner ever to play college football, bouncing and spinning off tacklers to become the top ground gainer in the history of the Southwest Conference. An overwhelming choice for the coach's All-America backfield, Earl Campbell of Southwest Conference champion Texas. And so college football 1977 becomes history. Each one of the young men named All-America by the coaches has excelled at his position and can be proud of his selection as one of the best in the country.
Our thanks to Eastman Kodak for making this film possible, and to you fans for making it a great season of college football.